been a tough time for the people of Powell County after 4 people have died in crashes here in just the past week.
Is he competent to stand trial? Today, an accused child killer in Woodford County goes in front of the judge. We'll have the latest on that hearing.
The organic grocery market is growing in Lexington. We have an update on some new stores in town and some familiar places expanding.
This is WKYT News at 5.
For the second time in just 16 hours, the Powell County coroner has called to a crash on the Mountain Parkway.
The Clay City police chief says a man and woman died after the car they were riding in blew a tire, went off the road and down an embankment. The crash happened just after noon near mile marker 19. A man died in a separate crash last night just a couple of miles down the road. WKYT Sean Moody is in Powell County with our top story at 5.
The Clay City police chief said this was a classic Chevy heading eastbound on the Mountain Parkway. There were a man and woman inside. They lost control when one of the rear tires blew out and they went off the side of the road. This makes 4 people killed along here in the past week. Tuesday's crash happened a little after noon. The police chief said there just wasn't much that driver could do once the tire blew out.
It's basically just a tragedy. You know, it was a matter of a tire malfunctioning. And there was nothing the driver could do to recover the vehicle. You know, and when you're traveling at sustained speeds on an open roadway, this is what happens.
A Wolfe County man and a Powell County woman inside the car were both killed when it hit an embankment. Just last night, another person was killed a few miles down the parkway. And last week, a man loading a disabled vehicle onto a tow truck right in the same area was killed when a passing vehicle hit him. So.
Yes, this is our 3rd fatal collision in a little over a week.
Yeah, it's got to be tough on you guys.
Yes, very tough.
Chief James Kirk said it's had an effect on people around here.
It makes it tough when you have loved ones that travel this road. My wife travels this road every day to Lexington. Every day when she leaves the house until she gets back home, I'm a nervous wreck.
The Clay City police chief said there's not really anything glaringly obvious out here that makes this stretch of road dangerous. He said there just wasn't much they could do once that tire blew. In Powell County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Police said the vehicle in today's crash was a 1960s model not equipped with seat belts.
It's a crime that's very difficult to understand. Why did an Indiana man with no apparent connections to the family or to Kentucky break into a Woodford County home and kill a 6-year-old during the middle of the night? And during competency hearing today, the state said that Ronald Exantis is capable of standing trial. As WKYT's Hillary Thornton explains, it's now up to a judge to decide.
More than 2 hours worth of testimony was heard here inside of the Woodford County Courthouse today. Family of Logan Tipton filling a couple of rows inside. And for the first time, the man accused of killing the 6-year-old also had family in the courtroom. That testimony coming from Dr. Amy Trivett from Kentucky Correctional Psychiatric Center. Dr. Trivett saying while no neurological abnormalities were found, doctors did note signs of psychosis and bizarre behavior by Exantis. However, with that being said, the expert witness testifying that she does believe the 32-year-old fully understands the charges against him and is competent to stand trial.
Obviously, I would like for there to not be a trial. I would like for him to be able to go and spend the rest of his life in a hospital somewhere where he can be monitored and medicated. You know, I think that would be in his best interest. I think it would be in everybody's best interest.
Exantis' defense team did have a couple witnesses set to testify, however, deciding to save them for a later date. While the judge did not make a ruling today, Tipton's father said they were pleased with how court went and are hopeful after a few delays that the court proceedings will continue moving forward.
We're ready to get this over with so we can heal. Every time we have to come back to court, it just reopens everything back up.
The attorney for Exantis says she does not believe that the judge will rule in favor of them on this competency hearing, but says she believes there are other hearings down the road that are more important to their defense. In Woodford County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
The next court date for Exantis is November 2nd. The judge plans to make a ruling before that date.
Police near Cincinnati have released dash cam video of a car moments before it crashed, killing the 15-year-old driver from Lexington. Police were investigating a rash of car break-ins in Marymount, just outside of Cincinnati, early yesterday morning. Officers believe the car was trying to avoid them. In the video, you can see the headlights in the car turn off. Police say the car was going nearly 100 miles an hour when it crashed. The driver, Jordan Perkins, died. A 13-year-old girl and two 18-year-olds, all from Lexington, were also injured.
Funeral arrangements are still being planned for a Kentucky state trooper who died in off-duty accidental fall. Our county-by-county coverage at 5 begins in Pulaski County. 24-year-old Mason Flynn died yesterday after he fell while helping a friend replace a roof on a barn. His body received a police escort today as it was returned to Somerset from the state medical examiner's office in Frankfort. Flynn was a 2-year veteran of the state police force. Morris and High Slope Funeral Home in Somerset is handling his arrangements. In Gallatin County, a threat involving creepy clowns kept many students home from school today. The school district posted on Facebook last night that extra security would be at the high school today because of a vague threat. WKYT in Cincinnati is reporting the threat came as a text message from someone with a profile picture as a creepy clown. The school said they did not believe the threat was credible and the extra security was just a precaution. The school said attendance levels were at 48% today.
We certainly hope you enjoyed today's sun and mild temperatures. Rain and cooler weather is heading our way. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us now with an early look at your forecast.
Yeah, today a very typical late September day across the Bluegrass State. A lot of sunshine, low humidity, blue skies, 70 to 75 gorgeous degrees. That's what we're beginning our evening with across the land. So as Amber was kind of teasing, you get outside, take advantage of it because the weather, it's going to be changing as we go into the next few days. 73 down. We'll look at Somerset, 72 degrees, 73 into Moorhead and the Mount Sterling area. Out this evening, quick drop in temperatures. By 11 o'clock, we're into the low 50s under a mainly clear sky. Defender Radar Network, forget about it until we get to the Great Lakes. Big area of low pressure that is cutting off in the upper levels. What you see across Lake Michigan and across the UP of Michigan is going to drop from north to south and be right on top of Kentucky late tomorrow and especially into Thursday and Friday. So all that spin you see with the clouds and the rain and that cooler than normal air that is across the Great Lakes, that's going to park itself over top of Kentucky as we go into the better part of the next several days. So here's what we're going to be working on. Get the umbrellas ready. Gusty showers and some thunderstorms and temperatures that'll border on the chilly side when I come back for the 7-day forecast in a new hour by hour in just a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are back out on the campaign trail after their first presidential debate last night.
Both campaigns are claiming victory in the face-off, during which the candidates sparred over the economy, national security, and racial issues. CBS's Craig Boswell has the latest on the race for the White House.
Hillary Clinton celebrated her debate performance with a rally in North Carolina.
Did anybody see that debate last night? One down, two to go.
Her rival, Republican nominee Donald Trump, was also upbeat in another battleground state during a roundtable meeting in Miami's Little Havana.
It was a fascinating period of time, and I think we did very well. We won virtually every poll,
Last night's debate saw both candidates sound off on a variety of topics, from national security to job growth, as well as on each other's controversial issues.
I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted.
It must be something really important, even terrible, that he's trying to hide.
The candidates have just 6 weeks left to convince undecided voters to support them on Election Day. Heading into the debate, Clinton led Trump in polls about who is most qualified and who has the right temperament to be president. Trump is continuing to reach out to Latinos.
Now we're leading Florida right now by pretty good bumpers. And we're doing that because of the Hispanic community.
While Clinton targets middle-income families.
What kind of person would want to root for 9 million families losing their homes? One who should never be president is the answer to that question.
Their next debate is October 9th. Craig Boswell, CBS News, New York.
And if you watched, you had a lot of company. Nielsen says an estimated 80 million people tuned into the debate last night, which would make it one of the largest audiences ever for a political debate. A New York City firefighter died from injuries following a house explosion this morning. Michael Fye died in the explosion in the Bronx. He was a 17-year veteran of the department. Investigators say he was hit by debris when the home collapsed. Firefighters were responding to a report of a gas leak. The home exploded shortly after firefighters discovered a possible drug lab in the home. Faye leaves behind 3 children.
The victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting will soon receive some money collected by the One Orlando Fund. The estates of the 49 patrons who were killed in the massacre will each receive $350,000. Those who were wounded will receive $65,000 to $300,000 depending on their injuries, and the 182 patrons who were uninjured will each receive $25,000. A Vermont man who spent a week lost at sea has arrived safely in Boston. Nathan Carmen and his mother had set off on a fishing trip 10 days ago when their boat sank. Carmen was rescued from a life raft Sunday and arrived at the Coast Guard base this morning. His mother hasn't been found and is presumed dead. The Coast Guard has taken the 22-year-old in for questioning.
The city of Cedar Rapids should be safe from high water as the Cedar River reaches flood levels. As the river swelled, crews constructed nearly 10 miles of temporary barriers to protect the thousands of homes and businesses in the area. Officials say that while the barriers are holding, some structures near the river could see some water in the basement. The river is expected to crest today 10 feet above flood level. You can call it a grocery war of sorts. The food market in Lexington is booming with new businesses and expanding stores, and they all have one thing in common. The story in 11 minutes on WKYT News at 5.
And if you have all the extra options on your car, like heated seats, it could be costing you at the pump. The story is later in Better Living.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day out there. And what's not to like about it in terms of the weather? Blue skies, sunshine, those low humidity and temperatures on the awesome side of the thermometer. I think we should add awesome somewhere on the thermometer. We look out there right now, 70 to 75 into most areas, and there's that famous late blue September sky. Temps across the region again, 70 to 75. Starting to see those numbers drop now as the sun gets lower on the horizon earlier and earlier, and with dry air in place, fairly steep drop is coming. There is a cold front that is just off the edge of this map, and those numbers across the Great Lakes turning downright chilly now, courtesy of that front. And look at how everything is spiraling around this low pressure that is on top of the Great Lakes. That low that is on top of the lakes will be right on top of the Ohio Valley, including here in Kentucky, as we go through the next several days. So you've got these little showers and thunderstorms dancing around that low. Tomorrow's one of those days to where first half of the day is likely to be the better part of the day, because into the afternoon, showers and storms increase, temperatures decrease. May spike it toward the low 70s early afternoon, then drop it toward the low and mid 60s as we go into the late afternoon. Courtesy of an upper level low. It's cut off from the jet stream, nothing to push it along. That's a pool of cool air that is located across the Ohio Valley. So you get temperatures that can border on chilly, and you can also get some periods of those showers and thunderstorms. Not going to rain all the time by any means, but the possibility is there for any one day to just be absolutely nasty. Watch how quickly tomorrow we will go from great to start to all of a sudden showers and thunderstorms lining up into the afternoon, and temperatures dropping like the proverbial rock as the rain settle on in. Winds will be gusty into Thursday, and you can see the spin around that low pressure. Remember, kiddos, everything around a low pressure goes counterclockwise, and that carries us into Friday too. And if anything on Friday with that upper level low on top of the region, watch how this precipitation kind of made its way back toward the Louisville area. Then watch what happens to it into the afternoon on Friday. Kind of comes at us again, slingshots back from the west and the southwest, and you get under some clouds and some showers. Those temperatures may hang only 60 to 65 for a high. You get a little sunshine, and briefly that number can spike way up there, but the majority of the region as we go into Thursday and Friday will likely stay into the low 60s into most areas. So keep that in mind. And the long-range call into early next week, it'll get a whole lot better, guys. It's going to take a little while. Case of the uglies over the next few. So as pretty as today is, next few kind of ugly it up.
You know, the race for the cure is Saturday morning. I'm hearing
it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
That's a given. There will be some scattered showers. Right now, I don't think it's wall-to-wall stuff. We'll see.
It's been downright cold lately for that last couple of years, so I'll take anything a little bit better than that.
Live look at Lexington rush hour traffic. A couple of collisions working, including one at Versailles and Delmont that has the outbound lane of Versailles Road blocked there. Nicholasville Road in front of Lexington Green, that turned out to be a stalled car, not a wreck. So not much of an impact to Nicholasville, still about 13 minutes. To Versailles, dealing with 11 minutes, and Frankfort 26. Now back to in the studio.
Thank you, Don. The Fayette County School Board moving forward now with plans for a new elementary school. Find out where that will be built in 3 minutes.
And coming up on WKYT News at 5:30, new information about a cemetery owner in Scott County accused of taking advantage of grieving families.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Here's a look at some of the most viewed stories on our website right now. People want to know more about a string of deadly crashes on the Mountain Parkway in Powell County. Friends are remembering a state police trooper killed in an off-duty accident, and the Lexington Health Department stepping up mosquito spraying after a confirmed case of the Zika virus. You can find those stories and more on WKYT.com.
The Fayette County School Board approved money to buy land for a new elementary school. Our news partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader report the school board voted last night to purchase the land on Athens-Boonesboro Road adjacent to Edith J. Hayes Middle School. The paper says the board is buying the 39-acre property from Centenary United Methodist Church for $2.7 million. The new school is not expected to be built before the fall of 2019. Fresh, healthy, and affordable. That appears to be the new trend in Lexington when it comes to grocery stores.
And as WKYT's Kristen Kenny reports, a new store in town hopes to meet the demand.
Well, Fresh Time is the latest to join the ranks of grocers in Lexington, providing healthy, natural items to families.
There is such a movement towards the healthier living and fruits and vegetables.
Fresh Time's Director of Operations, Greg Ham, says families are more focused than ever on healthy living. He's confident his new store in Lexington will attract a lot of people wanting fresh, natural, affordable foods. And he's not alone. Many grocers in town are expanding, citing the need to provide patrons with options.
I believe now that all families are really geared up towards looking to live healthier lifestyles and have affordable foods, healthy foods that they can purchase for their family and not having to go out and spend a lot of money.
Lucky's Market opened earlier this year with a focus on organic and local foods. Whole Foods Market at Lexington Green is moving to the big brand new development at the Summit. And the Kroger on Leestown Road is expanding. They're making room for greater varieties of produce, nutrition, and organic, saying natural and organic foods represent some of the fastest growing categories in our stores. Fresh Time leaders say there's more than enough room for a new grocer to make a mark in town.
We're not really looking to compete with anybody else. We're just really focused on building our own brand. We are really like a conventional store, but with everything geared towards healthy living at fantastic prices.
In Lexington, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
And Fresh Time's grand opening is tomorrow morning at 7. The expanded Kroger on Leestown Road will open late next month. We have some new information tonight about a deadly fire in southern Kentucky. Investigators have identified the victim. The latest on that investigation coming up on WKYT News at 5:30.
A drug used for blood disorders may help some people with a condition that causes hair loss. Researchers say patients are growing hair years after going bald. That story next in Better Living. It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. It could be a major breakthrough in the treatment of hair loss. Researchers say an FDA-approved drug has succeeded in regrowing hair in some nearly bald patients. Dr. Max Gomez reports.
It's called alopecia areata, an autoimmune disease where the body attacks the hair follicles and hair falls out in clumps and patches.
It can start from childhood up to adults, and it's males, females, all genders, all races equally.
It affects up to 7 million Americans. Existing treatments for alopecia have not been very effective, but now researchers at Columbia University Medical Center and Stanford University have worked out the key factors that lead to hair loss. It's a type of white blood cell called a T cell that attacks the hair follicle. but the follicles don't die off, which means they might be revivable. Dr. Cristiano and colleagues found that a drug called ruxolitinib, used for bone marrow and blood disorders, actually stops the attack on hair follicles.
Unexpectedly, not only do they act on the immune cells, but they also have a beneficial effect on the hair follicle.
The study on 12 volunteers in the Journal of Clinical Investigation showed stunning results. 75% of the patients had essentially full hair regrowth. By the end of the treatment, average hair regrowth was 92%.
This shows that if you can dampen down that immune response and reactivate the hair cycle, that even patients with years, decades of disease can have a clinical response and grow their hair.
The drug is a once-a-day pill that can lead to low blood counts, although in the study there were no serious adverse effects. Dr. Max Gomez, CBS News, New York.
The drug is not approved for hair loss yet. It can cost up to $10,000 a month, and hair starts to go away when a person stops the drug. Researchers are also testing the drug on male pattern hair loss. The EPA says gas mileage estimates for about 1/3 of new vehicles sold in the U.S. will decrease by about a mile per gallon. It's mostly because drivers are loading up on options that drag on engines, like heated seats. People are also using more air conditioning and driving faster. There will be a new gift card on store shelves this upcoming holiday season. Uber says it will start selling gift cards. They'll range from $15 to $500. They'll be available on Uber's website and in about 35,000 stores, including Walmart, Target, and CVS. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.